Hello friends, very good morning. Welcome back to 3rd July Hindu news analysis from LTX classes. Friends, in this particular session, first of all we will see the agenda of the articles that we will discuss in the today's class, and after that agenda is completed, then we will take each and every article and we will do a detailed discussion. Okay, friends, we are picking these articles from the Delhi edition of The Hindu newspaper. We are picking the articles from the Delhi edition of The Hindu newspaper. In that, the first and foremost article, if you see, Jaishankar to represent the India in place of Modi at the SCO summit in Kazakhstan. So this we have to read it under GS paper 2, international relations, specifically regional organizations. As a subtopic we have to study. And the second one is the fact check unit needed to protect the people from the fake news center in the Bombay High Court. This is related to GS paper 2 polity. In yesterday's class we also talked about this fact check unit. So please please watch the yesterday's video as well on this particular topic of fact check unit. Today we will discuss just in brief also. Okay. Next article is so this is something related to the plant species, particularly invasive plant species. Water hyacinth, something related to it is we have to cover it under GS paper 3, environment, wildlife, biodiversity, okay, etc. In this topic we have to cover this particular article. Yes, let's go to the next one. Courts are subservient only to the might of the constitution and no other authority. So Chief Justice of India have recently made a statement so that the courts are subservient means subordinate only to the constitution and no other authority. This you have to cover under GS paper 2 polity. We have to cover this under GS paper 2 polity. Yes, and then Beijing and Manila hold the talks after the maritime standoff. This we have to discuss under GS paper 2 international relations. It is associated with the South China Sea dispute. With respect to the South China Sea dispute, we have to take up this particular article. And then finally the today's editorial, digital jurisprudence in India in an AI era. So this we will read in GS paper 2 and even it comes under GS paper 3. So science and technology are basically GS paper 2, the policies, legislations which are required that in our country. With here it is Copyrights Act 1957 is involved, etc. We will discuss all this when we are discussing this editorial. That's it, friends. This is the today's agenda that we have to discuss. Yes, now let us jump on to the first article. As far as the first article is concerned, if you see, Jaishankar to represent the India in place of Modi at the SCO summit in Kazakhstan. So let us first of all build some basic background, and after that we will go across this particular article. First and foremost, you should understand that there is something called as SCO. SCO stands for Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It is one of the regional organizations. Friends, you are already familiar with United Nations, right? United Nations organization, where we have around from all the regions 193 plus member countries are there in the United Nations organization. So that means the membership in this organization is from all the regions. Okay, be it from the African region or from the American or from the Asian, West Asian. So there are so many members in United Nations organization. But on the other side, when you come to regional organizations are specific to that particular region only. One such example is this Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And we have other examples also. Like for example, we have something called as BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC stands for Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. Okay, This is what is BIMSTEC stands for. That means the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral, Technical and as well as Economic Cooperation. This is what does BIMSTEC stands for. And we have the other important organization called as IORA. IORA stands for Indian Ocean Rim Association. Indian Ocean Rim Association. Then we have ASEAN, which stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Everybody knows it, right? Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So these are some of the important regional organizations apart from Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Friends, regional organization as a topic is very, very important for the UPSC perspective. Always these organizations will be in the news for some or the other reason. Therefore, you are expected to know thoroughly these particular regional organizations. So as far as today's article is concerned, we will focus ourselves on Shanghai Cooperation Organization only. So these organizations, that is BIMSTEC, IORA, ASEAN, these organizations we will discuss in the subsequent classes. So that is, we will cross the bridge whenever it comes. Like means, it means that whenever these organizations are in the news, then we will discuss about these organizations. Let's restrict to Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So SCO, what is SCO? Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai is a city in which particular country? Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai is a particular city in which particular country? It is in the China. This SCO was basically a Eurasian. It is a Eurasian, Europe plus Asian, Eurasian political, economic and as well as the security organization. It is a political, economic and as well as a security organization. So this organization was formed in the year 2001. Very, very important. This organization was formed in the year 2001. In this organization, we talk about many important sectors. Like for example, we talk about trade, we talk about investments, and then we will talk about terrorism, and then separatism, extremism, and also we are bothered about connectivity, etc. So there are multiple issues on which this cooperation between the countries will take place. And how many countries are there as of now? Friends, there are 9 member countries are there in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, with the recent addition being Iran. So with the recent addition of Iran, now there are in total 9 member countries are there in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And now this year, that means later in the year 2024, it is expected that one more country is going to join, which is present observer, and now it is going to acquire this membership, that is known as Belarus. Belarus is also one more country which will join by the year end of 2024. So then 9 plus 1, it will become the 10 country grouping. Shanghai Cooperation Organization will become 10 country grouping. Clear? Then an important question comes, whether India is a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or not. Yes, friends, India is a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We are a member. But then a question comes, are we a founding member? Are we the founding member? What does it mean by founding member? Founding member means which was formed like it was in 2001. Friends, you should understand that India is not a founding member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In fact, we were joined in the year 2017. In the year 2017, India formally joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. If somebody asks you whether India is a member of SCO or not, yes. And it was joined in the year 2017 in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Along with us, there was one more country also, which is our enemy, which is Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan, along with Pakistan, India and Pakistan. So we became the member countries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2017. And more recently, what was that country more recently added? Iran was the country more recently added. And which country is expected to join by the 2024 year end? It was Belarus. Belarus is one more country which is expected to join. With the Belarus, it will become 10 countries. But as of now, today, if you see, there are 9 member countries. Yes, clear, right? Then now the issue, why it was in the news? Because it was in the news because in Astana, which is the capital for Kazakhstan, which is a Central Asian country. So here a SCO summit is going to take place. SCO summit is underway. It is going on now. SCO Summit 2024 is going on here, which is related to the Council of the Heads of the State. The Council of the Heads of the State, that is what is the name of this summit. The Council of the Heads of the State is the name of this summit. So the Council of the Heads of the State SCO meeting is underway. In which particular country? It was in Kazakhstan, and specifically which place? Astana. In order to attend this summit, generally Prime Minister will be going, but however this time we have sent the External Affairs Minister in the place of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in order to attend this summit. So what these the sources are saying is that they have not attached any specific reason why not the Prime Minister is not, why the Prime Minister is not going and why only the External Affairs Minister is going. That particular reasons were not stipulated anyway. But from our country, a representative who is an External Affairs Minister is representing our country in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit 2024. Which is underway in the Astana, Kazakhstan. And tomorrow, which is Thursday, and this summit, they are going to adopt a declaration called as Astana Declaration. Since the summit took place in Astana, so they are expecting to adopt a declaration called as Astana Declaration. Now it draws the UPSC's attention. Now they will ask you, Astana Declaration is often seen recently in the news. It is associated with which of the following regional organizations? That's what might be the question. So if you can see, it is associated with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It is associated with SCO. Okay, they'll give the options like BIMSTEC, IORA, ASEAN, likewise. Generally, wherever the particular meeting is happening, so that particular country's name or the place name will be taken as a declaration. For example, let me tell you one more example. We have recently hosted the G20, and which country which state, city hosted? New Delhi have hosted. That's the reason they have adopted something called as New Delhi Declaration. New Delhi Declaration is associated with G20. Likewise, Astana Declaration is associated with SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Clear, friends? Let me revise again. Shanghai Cooperation Organization is one of the regional organizations. Like similar the other organizations are BIMSTEC, IORA, ASEAN, etc. This Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a Eurasian, Europe plus Asian, political organization, economic and security related organization. It was formed in which year? 2001. Here what we talk about? We talk about trade, we talk about investments, we talk about terrorism, connectivity, etc. How many member countries are there? 9 member countries are there. Who was the latest member? Iran was the latest member to join in this summit. And by the year end 2024, who is going to join? Belarus. Belarus is at present an observer in the SCO, and it is expected to join as a full-time member of the SCO. Then a question comes, is India a member? Yes, absolutely, India is a member. Are we a founding member? No, we are not a founding member. We joined way back later, and we joined in the year 2017. Along with India, which other country also joined formally? It was Pakistan. India and Pakistan formally acquired the membership of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in the year 2017. And recently, why it was in the news? All this story is all about. This story is all about in Astana, which is Kazakhstan, the capital of Kazakhstan. So there an important summit, SCO Council of the Heads of the State meeting is taking place, and as a result of this summit, they are going to adopt a declaration known as Astana Declaration. For this, in order to attend this summit, from our country, a representative, External Affairs Ministry have Minister S. Jaishankar have represented our country in this particular summit. Yes, friends, these are some of the important points that you need to know with respect to this article. Anyway, I have mentioned it in the bullet points as well, so that for your ready reference. So those points are now you can see. So now Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Shanghai Cooperation Organization is an intergovernmental. Please be very clear. Shanghai Cooperation Organization is not a United Nations body, or not even it is a non-governmental body. It is an intergovernmental body. Group of countries, their governments came together and they formed this organization known as SCO. So its dimensions involved are like the political, economic, and as well as a security related alliance, which was founded in which year? It was founded in the year 2001. And the first important summit, the first summit took place in Shanghai, China, and it took place in 2001, and with that name it was Shanghai Cooperation Organization. What was the main objective of this organization? This organization aims to promote the cooperation and mutual support among the countries. Who are all member countries? Among these member countries, to promote the cooperation and at the same time the mutual support in the areas such as trade, investment, energy, transportation, and as well as security. In all these areas, this Shanghai Cooperation Organization member countries will promote the cooperation among them. Okay, then the next important is how many member countries are there and who are the member countries of SCO. This is something UPSC will definitely ask because of the recent addition of members in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So therefore, there are 9 member states, nothing but member countries. So there are 9 member states in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and they are the first and foremost. So it is very easy, friends, to remember. The first and foremost, what was the name of this organization? SCO. S stands for Shanghai. Shanghai is in China. So China would definitely be a member. That's the reason the first one we have written China. And the second important member is Russia. Russia is the second member. And then we have the Central Asian countries, right? These are the Central Asian countries. These are the Central Asian countries. Okay, these are the Central Asian countries. See, Kazakhstan, whose capital is Astana, and recently the summit is taking place here. So this would definitely be a member. Then the other Central Asian country, Kyrgyzstan, and then we have the Tajikistan, and then we have the Uzbekistan. So these 4 Central Asian countries are part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Very important note point, what was that? There was a 5th Central Asian country also, which is a Turkmenistan. So this Turkmenistan is actually not a member of SCO. Please friends, be very clear. Turkmenistan is not a member of SCO. Now what UPSC will do? They will say consider the following countries, and they will say A. Kazakhstan, B. Kyrgyzstan, C. Turkmenistan, D. Tajikistan, B. Uzbekistan. Which of the above countries is not a part of SCO? Which of the following countries is a part of SCO? UPSC will definitely ask a question on this particular topic in this way, if at all, if it want to ask related to the members of the SCO. Then I hope you have understood. First of all, China will be a member. Second one, Russia will be a member. And then out of 5 Central Asian countries, 4 Central Asian countries are the members of SCO, except the another Central Asian country, which is Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan is not a member of SCO. You need to be with double clarity you should have over this particular thing, because these are the silly mistakes that we will do, and these silly mistakes will cost us 1 year recently. Yes friends, then what are the other important things? Then I said that India is a member. Yes, India is a member. India and as well as Pakistan joined together, and we formally joined in the year 2017. India and as well as Pakistan were also the members, became the members of SCO. And finally, what was the latest addition? Iran was the latest addition in the SCO grouping. Very important. And these are the 9 countries of SCO. What are they? First one is China, second one is Russia, and then we have the 4 Central Asian countries. Please neglect Turkmenistan, don't include it here. And then we have India and Pakistan, and finally we have the Iran. These are the countries. And which was that country which is waiting in pipeline now? It was Belarus. Okay, we will come to it again. I have written some important note points as well, because you might miss that points. In order to avoid that, so I have written those points also. Central Asian country Turkmenistan is not a member of SCO. Must and you should know the point definitely. Next one is Iran is the latest member of SCO as of now, as of today, as of July 2024. Iran is the latest member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Belarus have not yet become a full member. It is expected to become full member by the year end, which is 2024. Year end of 2024. I have mentioned that point as well. Belarus will join the SCO later this year, in the year 2024. With the inclusion of the Belarus, the SCO grouping will have the 10 member states. Correct, right? Earlier we have 9 member states, including Iran. And after that we have the 10th member will also come by the year end of 2024, which is Belarus, and by then it will become the 10 member countries will be there. Okay, then India along with the Pakistan became the members of SCO in the year 2017. Very 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 important, friends. India and as well as Pakistan. India is a member of SCO. We were not the founding members, so UPSC will make a trap in this format. Consider the following statements about Shanghai Cooperation Organization, where the first statement they will give is it is a Eurasian political, economic and as well as the security organization established in the year 2001. Second statement they will make is, so the first summit of the SCO took place in Shanghai, China in 2001. And the third statement they will make is India is also the founding members of the SCO. No friends, we are not the founding member there. We have joined way back later, and we joined in the year 2017. That's what you have to understand this point here. Then apart from the members, we also have the observers. And what are the observers? There are 3 observers, friends. We have A, Afghanistan, and B, Belarus, and then 3, Mongolia. These 3 are the countries which are categorized as observer countries. They are not full members, they are observers. Okay, they are just observers. And out of these 3 observers, so the Belarus will be the one more observer who will be now uplifted again now to the membership position in the Shanghai SCO. Okay, Belarus, which is an observer as of now, will be uplifted into the full-time member of the SCO, and thereby you will be left with only 2 observers. Who are they? A, Afghanistan, and B, Mongolia. Okay, now UPSC's attention might draw here, and they will ask you, after inclusion of the Belarus as a full-time member, which of the following are the observers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? So you are left with only two things. The 2 countries are Afghanistan and as well as Mongolia. These are the 2 countries which are observers. Yes, friends. Now up till now we talked about what is SCO, when did this SCO formed, what are the important areas of cooperation of SCO. Then we came across what are the member countries of SCO. So then we have written some note points also, like for example, Turkmenistan is not a member, Iran is a latest member, Belarus will join down the line, India and Pakistan also are the members in 2017 only. Observers were like 3 observers, Afghanistan, Belarus and Mongolia. And after Belarus acquires the membership, you will be left with only 2, which is Afghanistan and as well as Mongolia. Now it's the time that we should know about the organizational structure of SCO. How this SCO will function, what is the organizational structure is there of the SCO. Friends, in SCO we have multiple internal organizations, and the first and foremost is the Council of Heads of the State. The Council of Heads of the State. This was the first important highest body. If you see this, it is the highest decision making body of the SCO, and it comprises the heads of the state of all the member states. Whoever all the member states who are involved, for example the 9 member states who are involved, so they are the their heads of the state will be the members of this particular organization, that is the Council of Heads of the State. This is the highest decision making body, and this is the supreme body under the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. If you see recently this Astana summit, right, it is associated with this first organization only. So that is the Council of Heads of the State. Let me show you the Council of the Heads of the State. See, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar reached Astana in Kazakhstan on Tuesday to lead the Indian delegation at the SCO Council of Heads of the State in place of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So that means you should understand that this is the highest decision making body within the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Council of Heads of the State. Very, very, very important, friends. It is the Council of Heads of the State. And the second point is they will meet annually in order to set the overall strategic direction for the organization. So their objective is to set the direction, strategic direction to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And the second important body is organization, internal organization is now instead of the Council of Heads of the State, now it is the Council of Heads of the Government. It is the second highest council in the organization, and it holds the annual summits at which the time members will discuss issues such as related to multilateral cooperation. For example, they will be discussing on trade, they will be discussing on energy, transportation, connectivity. See, for example, as far as connectivity is concerned, we have the INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, and we also have the recent IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC. So these are some of the important connectivity projects which will be discussed in these particular meetings. And the third important is secretariat. The third important is secretariat. See, for example, for United Nations, we have UN secretariat, right? Likewise, SCO also have their own secretariat, which is SCO secretariat. It is generally considered as an administrative arm of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. What is its responsibility? It is responsible for coordinating and implementing the decisions of the organization. Whatever the decision of the organization which are there. For example, the heads of the state or the heads of the government have had a meeting and they took some decisions. Okay, now these decisions need to be implemented, right? In order to implement all these decisions and all, it is a secretariat which will take care of all these aspects. That is what is secretariat. So then the secretariat is located in Beijing, China. It is located in the Beijing, China, and it is considered as a permanent executive body. Okay, and finally the fourth one, which is very important one, known as RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, called as RATS. Friends, this organization is actually responsible for coordinating the efforts among the member countries to fight something called as terrorism, separatism, and as well as extremism. In order to fight these three evils of terrorism, separatism, and as well as extremism all over the world, and specifically to this particular region, SCO region, so this organization will be taking care of that responsibility, known as Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure. Now the question will be, they will plain in a way put up RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, is often seen in the news, is associated with which of the following organizations, where they'll give the options like A, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, B, BIMSTEC, C, IORA, D, ASEAN. This is how they will ask, friends. Here you should understand that RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, is associated with that of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and it is an anti-terrorism based to combat the terrorism, separatism, and as well as extremism based body. And at the same time, it is based in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Even this is also very important. So the headquarters of the RATS is in the Tashkent, Uzbekistan. It is located in the Tashkent, Uzbekistan, which is one of the Central Asian countries. Likewise, previously we talked about secretariat. Secretariat is in the Beijing, China. Okay, secretariat is located in Beijing, China. So therefore, if you summarize the organizational structure, friends, we have other important organizations or other organizations also, like for example business council, etc. But apart from that, these four are very important organization. What are they? The first and foremost is like the Council of the Heads of the State, which is a supreme decision making body. And then we have the second one, the Council of the Heads of the Government, which is a second body. And the third one is the Secretariat. And then the fourth one is finally RATS, Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure. These four are the important organizations of SCO. Why in news? We already covered, right? Recently, the SCO Council of the Heads of the State meeting took place in Astana, Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is a Central Asian country which capital is Astana, and now the meeting of the SCO Council of Heads of the State is going to take place here. It is already underway. This summit will adopt something called as Astana Declaration. Very important, friends, which is expected to focus on strengthening the ties between SCO countries on economic issues, connectivity related issues, fighting the terrorism, etc. So now they will strengthen their cooperation in these particular three areas. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we will see what exactly that Astana Declaration have talked about, or if they come up with any new innovative actions or any kind of initiatives or any new kind of groupings that they are creating. So then we will add on in the down the line points. But as of now, these basic points need to be thorough with. Then that's it, friends. That's it about this particular article of SCO and as well as Astana Summit. So if tomorrow somebody asks you to talk about this SCO, you need to be thorough with all these important points. What is its organizational structure? How many members? How many observers? So okay, UPSC will ask you definitely the basic questions only. Now if you are thorough with this thing, every question that is on this SCO will be pretty basic or bare minimum for you only. So please try to be thorough with this particular article, friends. Let us move on to the next article. The next article is related to the fact check unit. Yesterday, in the yesterday's news analysis, we already talked about this fact check unit, and again today a new article related to the continuation. Basically the Bombay High Court a petition is going on, right? So with respect to that, this fact check unit needed to protect the people from the fake news center in Bombay High Court. So now in Bombay High Court, the central government is also responded. The central government is represented by the Solicitor General, very important, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta. You need not bother about the names. So but the Solicitor General is representing the central government in the Bombay High Court, and now this fact check unit is again in the news. So yesterday, please cover this particular article from the yesterday's analysis. Please do watch the yesterday's video also, so that will make you to have more other articles also. So this, if you see this fact check unit, let me give you a very small brief touch on this particular article. Friends, there is something called as fact check unit. It is associated with the Press Information Bureau. Press Information Bureau. Okay, this organization was created by the central government in the year 2019, and recently the Ministry of Electronics, notified this particular body. Ministry of Electronics notified this body under IT rules 2021. Under IT rules 2021, recently this particular body has been notified by the Ministry of Electronics, and in March 2024. Now, what was the main task of this particular article, of this particular fact check unit? The main task is, for example, if you see the Government of India, whenever any information or any article which is misleading, which is false, which is disinformation against the Government of India, that means if any article is published which is misleading against the government, which is false, or which is spreading the hatred against the government, then in that context, this article will be published where? It will be published on intermediaries. What are intermediaries? The intermediaries is, example is Facebook is one intermediary, and at the same time Twitter is another intermediary. So these are some of the important intermediaries, right? On these intermediaries, if this article is got posted in these intermediaries, now the fact check unit will come into picture. And it will mark this article which is misleading, which is false, or which is spreading the hatred, disinformation against the Government of India. Now fact check unit will label it as fake. What will happen if it is labeled it as fake? Then immediately, now it is the duty of these intermediaries like the Facebook, Twitter, Insta, etc., that they need to remove this article immediately from their platforms. They have to remove this particular article immediately from their platforms. From their platforms. Yes, everything is fine, right? So the fact check unit is like, what it is doing? It is trying to protect the Government of India's interests, because here the state should not be compromised. Nobody should spread the fake information against the Government of India. So, and then an example was also quoted. For example, if you see this, Mr. Mehta, who is a Solicitor General, said that a fake news about the Election Commission had floated on social media saying that the poll body would be deduct 350 rupees from the accounts of the people who choose not to vote. So the recent elections for the 18th Lok Sabha were concluded, and a new government was also formed, right? So there a new article got circulated which basically says that whoever choose not to vote, Election Commission of India is going to deduct about 350 rupees from their bank accounts. This is what is the fake news that got spread up during those days. So now Tushar Mehta is pointing out to this article and saying that, see, these are the fake news against the government of India and the institutions, constitutional bodies. So now this fact check unit, what it will do, it will try to pick up these type of news articles, and they will immediately label them as fake, so that immediately the intermediaries like the Facebook, Twitter, etc. will immediately remove this article from their platforms, so that this information, this wrong information, this misleading information will not be spread to the multiple people. I hope you have understood what is the idea here of fact check unit. It basically protect the interests of the government. It try to curb the for fake news completely. Now what is the problem? So the problem is, now the petitioners are saying that this fact check unit, whatever the body that is there, so the functioning is in such a way that it violates the fundamental right of the people. Acha, which fundamental right? And they are saying that it is article number 19 of the constitution, and under article number 19 it is specifically, we have 6 freedoms, right? Freedom of speech and as well as expression. Now the petitioners are saying that article number 19 will be violated, the freedom of speech and as well as expression will be violated if this fact check unit is constituted. Why? Because if you see the clear functioning, there might be a possibility that, for example, let us assume that an opposition member or somebody who is constructively criticizing the government, not a false claim, they are constructively criticizing the government regarding, let's say, a particular policy or a decision of the government, then in that context, what this particular XYZ person will do, he will publish some article. Okay, he will post some article by constructively criticizing the government, regarding a particular policy or the decision. Where he will post, he will be posting on these intermediary platforms only, like the Facebook and as well as Twitter or Instagram or whatever the other platforms which are there. Now these petitioners are saying that, see here, now what the government will do is, by using its weapon of fact check unit, will try to make this criticized article, whatever the article which criticized the government as, and they will make it as, label it as fake. If they label it as fake, what happens? Then immediately the duty of the intermediaries is to remove these particular fake articles from their platforms. So as a result, it is directly in violating the freedom of speech and as well as expression of the person who has constructively criticized the government. So they are basically saying that through this fact check unit, completely the government is trying to remove the opposition or the opposition or the criticism against it, and that is what it is trying to achieve through this fact check unit. This is the argument of the petitioners. But on the other side, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta is saying that see, there are other states as well, like in our country, for example Kerala, Uttarakhand. So they also have these fact checking units. See, this is what he mentioned here. Many state governments have the fact check units, FCU, such as Kerala and as well as Uttarakhand. If the union government do not have the fact check, it will be a dereliction of the duty. This is what are the arguments of the Tushar Mehta. So now therefore, what is the need of the hour is, the fact check unit should be in such a way that so now it should maintain a delicate balance on protecting the state interests, and at the same time it should also protect the fundamental rights of the people, protect the fundamental freedoms, particularly freedom of speech and as well as expression, which includes freedom to constructively criticize the government. So should be maintained. Therefore, this fact check unit functioning should be in such a way. Now the Bombay High Court will take a call on this IT rules 2021 that have created, that have a provision for creation of this fact check unit, and down the line we can see so what might be the judgment. The arguments are still going on, and let's say down the line what will happen. Okay, and as from the exam point of view, GS paper 2 polity, so this is now the petitioners are contending that it is directly violating the fundamental rights, and fundamental rights is one of the important topics under paper 2 polity. You can sure shot expect a question on this in either the prelims or the mains perspective. You can expect a question, friends. So therefore you need to be thorough with this fact check unit. The first one we talked about is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the second one we talked about is a fact check unit. Then let's go to the third one. The third one is the water hyacinth. An invasive species called as water hyacinth, an image got published in the Hindu newspaper only. See, water hyacinth covers a vast portion of the Vembanand Lake at the Kumarkom in the Kottayam district of Kerala. So by pointing this image, so this invasive species, friends, very important. This water hyacinth is a invasive species or an invasive alien species. It is detrimental to the fish and other aquatic species, and also it affects the flow of the water also. Now this water hyacinth species is an invasive alien species, and it is actually detrimental to the fish and as well as the other aquatic species there, and it is also even blocking the flow of the water. It is affecting the flow of the water. This is what is the article. This is published. Very important from the exam point of view. Invasive alien species. You should start with what are invasive alien species. Let us start with it. See, invasive alien species refers to the plant or the animal species. It can be a plant like, for example, water hyacinth. It can be a plant like water hyacinth, and at the same time it can be an animal species also. For example, let me take it to another current affair which was in the news way back, which was related to Indian crows. As far as Indian crows is concerned, these Indian crows are considered as an invasive alien species, particularly animal species, in a country called as Kenya. In the Kenya, so these invasive alien species are considered, the Indian crow population, Indian crows which are there, are considered as an invasive alien species, and the government have recently taken a decision to kill millions of crows in the Kenya. So because they are creating a lot of disturbances, and they are disturbing the ecosystem completely. So therefore this is also one of the invasive alien species. Now what are invasive alien species? They refer to plant and animal species which are not native to India. Friends, every country will have their own invasive alien species. For example, Kenya will say that invasive alien species refers to plant or animal species which are not native to Kenya. Likewise, for every country, the perspective will change. Since we are talking from the Indian perspective only, we are saying that, so these are what are these species? These are basically plant or animal species. They are actually not our native. They are not a part of our country. But however, they have been brought from somewhere, okay? Either by accidentally or intentionally, they have been brought by somebody. And their introduction, what is doing? Their introduction is adversely impacting the existing wildlife or its habitat. Such a species is regarded as the invasive alien species. What is invasive alien species? Invasive alien species is basically the plant or animal species which is not native to India, but however their introduction into our country is making the existing wildlife and its habitats are adversely impacted because of this species. This species is regarded as the invasive alien species. For example, water hyacinth, which we recently seen in the image, ranks as the world's most widespread invasive alien species on the land. Very important point, friends. This invasive alien species, sir, as far as this water hyacinth is considered, it is ranked as number 1. It is considered as the most invasive alien species. For example, if it was introduced in a particular country accidentally, then immediately, so their spread will be in such a way that it will be very huge, and at the same time it will destroy the entire ecosystem that is there, and the species which are living in that ecosystem, they are all will be affected because of this species. That is, that much invasive, powerful is this water hyacinth species. Now you are expected to know what are some of the important factors which are responsible for this invasive alien species. The first and foremost is climate change. So because of due to this climate change also, so the many new species are getting turned up into the invasive alien species. And the second important is, now comes the globalization. Because of this globalization of trade and as well as travel, so the people along with them or by the movement of the vehicles, by the movement of the people. So these species are also moving from the one particular country to another country, either some with somebody, sometimes like accidentally or sometimes intentionally. People with malintentions will also spread, with wrong intentions will also spread this particular type of species. Okay, and the third one is, as I said, human introduction of exotic species. For example, if somebody brought a species kind like this for a gardening purpose without knowing its impact, so then if it escapes from their own a secured area to the another important, this the cultivated areas to another important areas, so there also it will impact a huge, it will create a huge impacts. So these are some of the factors which are responsible for the invasive alien species. Now the question comes, what are the international initiatives which have been taken in order to protect, in order to reduce the extent of this invasive alien species? Correct, right? Since these species are affecting their wildlife and as well as biodiversity a lot, in that context there is a dire need to contain them. We have to reduce them, we have to eliminate them. So that's what the initiatives. So the first and foremost initiative is very, very, very important. So specifically from the, not only from the invasive alien species perspective, in an overall general biodiversity perspective, the first point is very important. Something called as the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework 2022 was recently adopted as part of something called as CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. So here the governments have committed to reduce the rate of introduction and as well as establishment of invasive alien species by at least 50% by 2030. At least by 50% by 2030, the government is aiming to reduce, committed to reduce the rate of introduction and as well as their establishments. So this is what is a commitment that the governments have made in the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which took place in the year 2022 as a result of the outcome of the CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity. The second initiative is CBD, the Convention on Biological Diversity. Friends, this is an international agreement which took place in the, which was signed in the year 1992 in the Rio Earth Summit. Okay, in the Rio de Janeiro is in Brazil. In Brazil in the year 1992, an important summit took place called as Rio Earth Summit, and in this summit, this convention known as Convention on Biological Diversity was adopted. What is the main objective? To protect the biodiversity all over the world. So here, even in this convention also has recognized the impact of the invasive alien species, and they said that it recognized the invasive alien species as a major threat to the environment, second only to the habitat destruction. After habitat destruction, the second direct threat to the environment is this invasive alien species. So therefore they are saying that there is a dire need to reduce the impact of these invasive alien species. Then at the same time, the third one is CITES initiative, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and as well as Fauna. It is an initiative which took place in the year 1975. So out of this convention also recognized that impact of invasive species involved in the trade. It is also talking about this invasive alien species. So these three are some of the important initiatives associated with that. And fourth one is important one, that is invasive species specialist group. Friends, these points you can write in the mains answers when you are talking about something related to invasive alien species. Then you can mention all these international initiatives in your mains answers. That will be definitely enriching for your preparation. So your answer will be look so enriched. Okay, then invasive species specialist group. What is invasive species specialist group? Is that the invasive species specialist group, it is a global network of the scientific and policy experts on invasive species, organized under the auspices of the Species Survival Commission. There is something called as Species Survival Commission under the IUCN, under the umbrella organization that is involved is IUCN, International Union for the Conservation of Nature. We have this invasive species specialist group is also there. It is actually a global network, okay, of the different policy, scientific and policy experts from all over the world. Okay, what they will be doing, they will be maintaining a global database of invasive species. This is what is their main duty as part of the invasive species specialist network group is part of. This invasive species specialist group is part of which organization? It is part of the IUCN, International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN. Now you'll be surprised to see that, see, if you see this question from the UPSC 2023, friends, this was a question that was asked in last year UPSC prelims 2023. If you see this question, invasive species specialist group that develops the global invasive species database belongs to which of the following organizations? The IUCN, the United Nations Environment Program, the United Nations World Commission for Environment and Development, the World Wide Fund for Nature. I hope by now it will be pretty easy for you, this particular question. But if you don't know this particular topic, then definitely you will face a lot of difficulty in answering this question. And this invasive species specialist group is associated with the IUCN, International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN. In IUCN, we have Species Survival Commission, and under this Species Survival Commission, we have this particular body called as Invasive Species Specialist Group, and they develop something called as Global Invasive Species Database. So they will be developing the global invasive species database. That means they will maintain the database of all the invasive species all over the world. For example, water hyacinth is one such example. Yes friends, clear, understood, right? That's it. Let's go to the next article. Courts subservient only to the might of the Constitution and no other authority. So recently, Chief Justice of India, so while inaugurating the new court complexes, has made a statement by saying that the courts are subservient. Subservient means subordinate to the Constitution. Okay, they are subordinate to the only to the might of the Constitution and no other authority. Okay, so here the Chief Justice of India is making some important remarks regarding all these things, where he also talked about the climate change and where there is a dire need we need to take care of it. So by making our lifestyles green lifestyles, we have to adopt into a green lifestyles. So this is what is the sum of the, and we have to reduce the carbon emissions. So these are some of the important remarks that the Chief Justice of India have made during this particular foundation ceremony that he have attended recently. Now you need to know some important points about the Chief Justice of India. We assume that you have zero knowledge with respect to these articles. That's the reason we proceeded from the zero only. Okay friends, if you really like our videos and if you are able to understand our videos, please do like and as well as comment. That will definitely be the boosting and as well as encouragement for us from the LTX classes. Okay, the first point, if you see, the Chief Justice of India is a head of the judiciary overall. He is the head of the judiciary, and at the same time he is also the head of the Supreme Court of India. Very, very, very important. And at the same time he is also the head of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice, who is responsible for the allocation of the cases and at the same time appointment of the constitutional benches which deal with the important matters of law. So for example, whenever any matter which is associated with the Constitution comes into picture, then a constitutional bench will be set up, and that constitutional bench will decide on that particular case. So now that constitutional benches, setting up those constitutional benches, responsibility also lies with the Chief Justice of India only, and at the same time allocation of cases will be taken care by the Chief Justice of India only. What are, now I thought to mention here, what are the qualifications to become a Chief Justice? Can you and as well as me can become the Chief Justice of India? Yes, we can become the Chief Justice of India, but provided we satisfy these qualifications. So we need to ensure that we satisfy these qualifications, then definitely one or the other day we can also become the Chief Justice. The first and foremost condition is he should be a citizen of India. Very, very important point. So a foreigner is not eligible to become a Chief Justice of our country. So therefore he should be a citizen of India. And the second important point is he should have at least 5 years. He should act as a judge of the High Court or of the 2 or more such courts in succession. So he should have been a judge of a High Court for at least 5 years. That was the first condition. Or it is not and condition, please be very clear, it is an or condition, either this or that. Either you should be a judge of a High Court for at least 5 years, or if you are not a judge of a High Court for 5 years, at least you need to be an advocate of the High Court for 10 years. See, you have been for at least 10 years an advocate of a High Court or 2 or more such courts in succession. And the third important point is, or if you say in the opinion of the President, if you are a distinguished jurist, you should be a an opinion, you should be a have a opinion, the opinion of the president. In the eyes of the president, you should be a distinguished jurist. So the constitution have not mentioned the word. What does the word distinguished jurist mean by? So okay, these are some of the basic qualifications so that you are expected to have to become the Chief Justice of India. Yes, friends. And who will appoint him? It will be appointed by the President of India. Yes, the Chief Justice of India and the judges of Supreme Court are appointed by the President under Article number 124 of the Constitution of India. This is regarding the appointment of the CJI. Let us go to the next article. Beijing, Manila hold the talks after the maritime standoff. So the two countries that are involved are Beijing, which is the capital of China, and the Manila, with the other country is Philippines. These are the two countries, friends, which are involved, and the dispute is mainly associated with the South China Sea dispute. Then the dispute is mainly associated with the South China Sea dispute, and the claim of the China is the territorial claims over the South China Sea. Okay, territorial claims by drawing something called as 9-dash line. Very important, 9-dash line. So the China have drawn something called as 9-dash line and saying that so this 9-dash line area will be completely part of the China. So this 9-dash line is actually merging with the in conflicting with the EEZ, exclusive economic zones, of the other countries such as Philippines, Vietnam, etc. Let's see the image. If you see the image, this is what is the South China Sea, friends. If you see the South China Sea, so here on the northern side we have the countries like China and as well as Taiwan, and on the eastern side we have the Philippines. Now the countries which are involved in the dispute are like Philippines and as well as China. So China have drawn a something called as a 9-dash line. Okay, and there are important islands, for example Spratly Islands, Scarborough Shoal, Paracel Islands. So these are some of the important islands which are there in the South China Sea. Even UPSC you can expect a question from UPSC by saying Scarborough Shoal is often seen recently in the news, or Spratly Islands are seen in the news. They are associated with which of the following? Like for example, they are associated with A, South China Sea, B, Black Sea, C, Red Sea, D, Yellow Sea. There can be multiple options so that UPSC can put up as a challenge for you. Okay, so South China Sea dispute, this is all regarding the South China Sea dispute, and recently some violent clashes got exchanged between China and as well as Philippines. Now in order to reduce the tensions, so they both have had a meeting. They are in talks with each other in order to ease these tensions. Okay, now what you're expected to know is South China Sea and as well as its basic geography. South China Sea is bordered by China and as well as Taiwan to the north. If you see South China Sea, the border to the China and as well as Taiwan to the north. This was the one important thing. And second, this including Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia and as well as Singapore to the west. See, if we see Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam and as well as the Thailand. So Thailand, these are the countries which are bordering the west. Thailand, which are bordering the west. And at the same time, Indonesia and as well as Brunei to the east, to the south. Indonesia and as well as Brunei. For example, Brunei and as well as Indonesia to the south of the South China Sea, if you see. And to the east, we have the Philippines to the east. This is what is Philippines to the east. So what are the countries? In the north we have the China and as well as Taiwan. On the west we have the Vietnam, and then we have the Thailand, and then we have Malaysia, and then we have Singapore, and on the south we have Brunei and as well as Indonesia, and towards the east we have the Philippines. So these are some of the important countries which are part of this bordering the South China Sea. Even you can expect a question, which of the following countries borders the South China Sea? That can also be a potential question, friends. Okay, it is connected by the Taiwan Strait with the East China Sea and by the Luzon Strait with the Philippines Sea. So this is another important point with respect to the South China Sea straits are concerned. You are expected to know for sure this region will always be in the news. So please be very clear. Down the line, if at all if they sign any new kind of agreements or something like that, definitely coming down the line we will look into those particular possible agreements also. stay tuned to our channel and please subscribe to our videos, so that definitely daily we will do the analysis on in English, so that will be helpful for you. But all we want is your love in the form of likes and as well as subscriptions. Please subscribe to our channel so that daily you can get the videos daily, so that you can stay tuned with respect to current affairs. Yes friends, yes, let us go to the next. Yes, that's it. This is the last for today, which is editorial digital jurisprudence in India in an AI era. So instead of having a line by line walkthrough, I'll be explaining you the simple important points. What is the main crux of this article? So the main crux of this article is all about something called as, the author is talking about generative AI technologies. Generative AI. Now this generative AI is in the boom. Maybe you are not aware this generative AI word, but you are aware of the words like chat GPT. Chat GPT is one of the generative AI technologies, one of the tools of generative AI, I can say. Similarly, we have Cloud 3.5 Sonnet, for example, recently is in the news, and Gemini from the Google, recently in the news. Gemini is in the news. So these are the some of the important generative AI tools. What are these mainly used for? They are used for mainly for text generation. So you can use for it for a text generation, and even you can use it for a image generation. You can use it for a text generation, and you can use it for a image generation. So now the author is talking about, whenever by using these tools like the text generation or image generation, when somebody produces a content, rather than when somebody produces a content, let me first start from here. Whenever these tools are there, right, like the text generation tools or the image generation tools, so this chat GPT, Cloud 3.5 Sonnet or Gemini, all these things should be classified as what it need to be classified. Under which classification does these tools comes into picture? This was the first question of the author. Now he is asking you, can they be classified as intermediaries, like for example Facebook, and at the same time we have the Twitter, so okay, which is now X. So okay, now can we say them as intermediaries? So now the saying that they cannot be claimed as intermediaries, because and intermediaries do enjoy a principle called as safe harbor principle. What is safe harbor principle? Safe harbor principle means whoever posts the content, any offensive content on these platforms like Facebook will not hold any liability for that content. It is a user who has posted that content will be responsible. Now the author is saying that, see, this generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., they are not intermediaries, okay, because they are not just hosting the content, they are not they are not having any hyperlinks to other websites or something like that. So then are they conduits, something called as the conduits? They are just mere conduits. Then so this was the first point that the author has addressed. This is a question mark now, under which category these generative AI tools need to be kept. And the second important question is, by the content that these tools are producing, so these tools are producing some content, right? So should this content be protected? Should it be copyright should be granted to this particular content? This is a second question. So for that, the author has pointed out our Copyright Act 1957. In our country, copyrights are completely governed by Copyright Act 1957. Okay. In our country, the copyrights are granted by the Copyrights Act 1957. So now what the author is saying here is that, see, the legislation which is there in our country is not well equipped in order to tackle the AI related content. Now what about the new AI content that is produced? So on whom the liability need to be placed? So is it the user or is it the programmer? Okay, to whom the liability need to be placed? And if we protect this AI content, to whom the copyright need to be issued? So these are some of the challenges which are there. So that is what the author is pointing out into. These challenges need to be addressed, because this generative AI has recently came into picture, and this is going to evolve more sooner. We have to come up with a comprehensive legislative framework. So, and this is what is the author's point of view. You can read further this article. This is the main outcome, main outlook of this particular article is all about. Yes friends, that's it. We'll close it for here for today. I hope you have enjoyed the today's session. I hope you have understood the important articles that we have discussed from the exam point of view, both from the pre and as well as mains. If you like the video, please like the video, and at the same time please comment, show your comments as well in the form of, show your love in the form of the comments. And it's the time for today's question. Friends, every day we will post a question at the end of the video, and it is your duty to comment the answer, because that only shows me your dedication towards your UPSC dream, and also show me that you are with me up till now. And today's question: consider the following countries: Russia, India, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, and as well as Iran. Which of the above countries is or are the members of SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization? They have given 5 countries, and they're asking you now which of the following above are the members of the SCO, like Russia, India, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, and Iran. By now, I feel that you already know the answer. If you know the answer, please comment it. Okay, and at the same time, if you have liked the video, please like the video, friends, because that gives me more the boost and as well as encouragement, boosting and as well as encouragement to do more this type of videos. Yes, that's it friends for today. Let us meet again in the tomorrow, which is 4th July Hindu news analysis. Until then, stay tuned. Happy preparation, happy learning, and as well as all the best friends for your UPSC preparation. Thank you so much. Bye bye.